r/ask Reddit. What was the best thing one person ruined for the rest of us? The ducking shoe bomber guy ensured that we'd have to spend the next 10 years fumbling with our footwear at airports. That's been really effective. Can't wait for anus bomber. I'm gonna have to check your a-hole. Bill Cosby ruined Bill Cosby for the rest of us. If only there was another Bill Cosby out there to chew him out for it. God, that would be amazing. Bin Laden ruined kids being able to see the cockpit of a plane. Joey, do you like movies about gladiators? You ever seen a grown man naked? Andrew Wakefield ruined vaccinations for us. One fraudulent paper in The Lancet, later retracted, and now even rich Californians are getting measles and idiots everywhere are ducking up herd immunity. Infants and people with compromised immune systems are in mortal danger thanks to this chuckler duck. Add Jenny McCarthy to that. She's the one who went on national television and ramped up the rhetoric, because people listen to celebrities. Oprah had a lot to do with making her look legit. Some a-hole uploaded 75 terabytes to Microsoft OneDrive, causing them to retract the free unlimited storage. To be fair, they said unlimited. Was going to say that the a-hole in this scenario is Microsoft, not the person. The name Vidkun was ruined in Norway by Vidkun Quisling. There's actually an old joke from the war times about it. Hello, I would like to change my name. Okay, what is your name? Vidkun Shitstin, and what would you like to change it to? Paul Shitstin by you/Oldurkja month ago. Much like the name Adolf. Hello, I would like to change my name. Okay, what is your name? Adolf Hitler, and what would you like to change it to? Paul Hitler. I used to be able to have my cell phone at my work desk until Summer Shat in Houston was using it to take pictures of people's social security numbers. I miss my podcasts. Did the company ban pens and paper as well? Don't forget eyeballs and brains. Can't be having employees who can read and memorize things. Security risk, you know. Shopping in a civilized manner was ruined by the shithead who created the phrase "the customer is always right." Now we have an endless parade of entitled a-holes ruining the lives of people who deal with the public, and the fellow shoppers who have to witness these disgusting individuals put on their disgraceful performances. Yes, who came up with that? I am a supervisor and have worked here for 5 years. If anyone knows what's right, it's me, not some shitlark that pranced in here to tell me about my job. The customer is usually wrong, but statistics indicate that it doesn't pay to tell him so. Aleister Crowley. I hate whoever made Netflix and chill a viral sensation. Now I can't invite a girl over to watch a movie without it sounding overly suggestive. Before that it was Blockbuster and Fist. There was never a time where inviting someone for a movie was not suggestive. Edit. Alright. Who wasted money on me? XD. That sounds like a law firm. The shitty movie Tuck Everlasting ruined the best part of my local state park. A few miles outside of Forest Hill, MD is Rock State Park. A part of that park is Kilgore Falls, Maryland's tallest waterfall. It is known more commonly as Falling Branch. The reason for this is that a large tree had fallen many years ago, landing in the water and leaning on the rocky cliff of the falls. This acted as a perfect branch to climb up 10 feet and jump into the very deep swimming hole at the base of the falls. It was an incredibly fun recreational area for kids and adults alike. Then the duckers at Stat Out Tuck Everlasting came to our town and saw the beautiful, nationally protected area and thought, well, this looks like a wonderful thing to ruin for this town. They came, cut down the tree for which Falling Branch got its name. They filled in the swimming hole with 10 feet of rocks, filmed their one scene, and ducked off without fixing anything. The once amazing location was never the same. Duck those guys. Duck Disney. Duck everyone. That kinda sounds like your local government ducked up as well. I mean, who let them film at that location? Didn't have a contract with any clauses about leaving it the way it was, etc. And no one in the past 10 years has been like, hey, you guys should really fix this, or made it part of their election platform. Yeah, Disney sucks, but I would be way more pissed at your town's officials. Ethan Zuckerman, the guy who invented pop-up ads. He even apologized later on for creating them. His name is suspiciously similar to Zuckerberg, which is suspiciously similar to Dinklerberg. The KKK ruined ghost costumes. Only on men. Sexy ghosts on women with nothing underneath are still good. You mean a burqa? We have had Pumpkin Chunkin in Delaware every year for the past 25 plus years. People would build their own cannons and compete to see who could launch pumpkins the furthest, all non-profit and a major benefit to the community. 3 years ago some 360 pounds drunk guy on a four-wheeler flipped and paralyzed himself at the event. Sued the farmer who owned the field, ending Pumpkin Chunkin forever. Duck that guy. I remember watching that on Discovery. It was awesome. What a dong. Noah, by not swatting those two goddamn mosquitoes. All one would do. Marijuana. Harry J. Anslinger. Anslinger claimed cannabis caused people to commit violent crimes and act irrationally and overly sexual. The FBN produced propaganda films promoting Anslinger's views, and Anslinger often commented to the press regarding his views on marijuana. My grandfather believed that till the day he died. The question is, why? Essentially, money. DuPont was a big industry player at the time and had just invented nylon. Hemp was cheaper, stronger, and easier to produce. This presented a definite threat to DuPont's bottom line. Propaganda films like Reefer Madness helped propagate the notion that marijuana turned people into sex-craved, murderous savages, when, in reality, it turns people into Dorito-craving people who pass out on the couch watching Rick and Morty. The person who authorized the experiments on the live reactor in Chernobyl and the deactivation of the safety features ruined nuclear power for everyone. I would say a certain movie Jane Fonda starred in and an island about 3 miles from a town had something to do with it. Late game edit. To restate what's been said below so everyone can get a little context. Basically the China Syndrome released right before the 3 Mile Island accident occurred scared the hell out of a lot of Americans. They saw a film which had a main plot point about a nuclear accident so bad it would render Pennsylvania uninhabitable. 12 days after the film's release, a partial meltdown occurred at the 3 Mile Island nuclear power plant in Pennsylvania. The news coverage made it out to be a disaster. People thought it was much worse than it was. This whole episode pretty much spawned the US anti-nuclear movement. While this didn't ruin nuclear power for the world, it certainly ruined it for the US. This also occurred in 1979, 7 years before the Chernobyl accident. The only new nuclear power in the US since are 2 expansions to existing plants that are not yet complete and are being fought against. Maybe, but if you ask 1,000 people about the 2 disasters, I would say more of them know about Chernobyl. Also, the health effects of TMI were minimal, while Chernobyl was much worse, mostly thanks to the USSR keeping it secret for weeks. Not 1 but 3 people at my work ordered Jimmy John's at the same time, but none of them told each other, so 3 different deliveries came in at the same time for 3 different sandwiches. We are now blacklisted from Jimmy John's. All I want is a sandwich sometimes. That sounds like a duck up for JJ's. No one notices there are several orders on the same street at a minimum. Although you clearly want to give us lots of money, we no longer want any of it, ever. JJ's manager. Lee Harvey Oswald ruined presidential parades. Allegedly. Always loved trumpets, but they'll never be the same after John Cena. Add Mr. Skeletal into that mix. Trumpets will never be the same. I needed that +1 calcium though. But calcium is +2. Rich Skrenta releasing the first computer virus. We're so saturated with warnings about viruses and other malware that we never stop to think about how weird it is that such a thing even exists. Some prick started it, and now it's everywhere. My brother and sister don't seem to be so saturated with these warnings. Every time I go on the family computer there's always something new I have to remove. But they're just trying to download free PC scans so you don't have to waste your time anymore. The kid that got Pokemon cards, Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and Beyblades banned at elementary school. Duck you, David. I remember the day Beyblades were banned in my school. It was because of some scumbag stealing other kids' weight rings. He didn't even steal the whole thing, just the weights so they wouldn't work anymore. In my town, in the 70s they used to have a river rapids race. People would build homemade rafts and float down the river. They had bands playing along the banks and people would have kegs on their rafts. From the pictures that I've seen, it looked like a total Woodstock style party on the river. Then, Some a-hole had to get drunk and fall off a raft and drown. Game over. Duck that dude. Most of the time it's some a-hole who overdoes things and gets hurt or dies to ruin everything for the rest of us. Kindle used to offer unlimited 3G internet access for life for its e-readers. Summershat wrote an article on how to tether that connection for other devices. Amazon took away unlimited and restricted it to 50 MB month. I remember when the Kindle had unlimited 3G, we were hit by a snowstorm and lost power for a week. It took for ducking ever, but you best believe I googled pictures of titties using the experimental black and white web browser. It got me through that snowstorm. Edit. Obligatory. My top rated comment on Reddit is now about looking up black and white titties on an editor. People think they're clever when they game the system. It just screws it up for everyone. Don't game a system where the people in charge can know that you're gaming the system. Every 4th of July a 2-hour-long parade runs down Main Street in my hometown. Thousands of people come out to watch. One of the best parts of the parade was the water battles between the high school cheerleaders riding on the fire trucks and the crowd. The cheerleaders would have water guns and so would everyone watching the parade. And each year everyone was prepared for the ensuing water war. One year we even hooked up a nozzle to the garden hose and absolutely drenched the cheerleaders. Fantastic event and loads of fun. One year some lady's camera got wet and threw a fit. Complained to the city. Got water guns banned from the parade. Ruined everyone's time. Straight up Buzzkillington. Edit. Sorry, the story doesn't end with a wet t-shirt contest. I was expecting something like a cheerleader fell from the truck. Little Timmy got overzealous and ran in front of the truck. You know, something bad. Nope. Christ, your town is soft. I was banking on underage nip slip or accidental wet t-shirt contest. Soggy camera was not even on my radar. The lady who got on top of a Galapagos tortoise at the breeding center and rode it for fun. Now people can't go into the enclosure with the giant tortoises. Similar thing in my city. The zoo used to have a thing where you could drive through the lion area, but some idiot wound their window down to take a photo and got wrecked by a lion. So now you can only go in double cages on official trucks twice a day. I'm late for the party, but kinda surprise eggs. They're illegal in NY thanks to that one kid who ate the ducking toy. I think they are illegal in the entire US, but I found some in South Carolina recently and did a stupid dance in the middle of the store. Edit. For all of the people asking where, PM me. Edit 2. Took down the name of the store. I don't want them to get fines as per you/thatchalicious. Sorry to ruin Christmas. The law that bans Kinder Eggs was made in 1938. Kinder Surprise Eggs were first made in 1974. What the hell happened to all of the high diving boards? The pool I went to as a kid got rid of it because the insurance company gave them the ultimatum of remove the board or stop letting people drink at the pool. Board voted. People would rather drink. Damn. The board voted to get rid of itself for the sake of drinking. Edit. I don't deserve any of this. Used to be I would click on anything starting with 2 girls. Not anymore. 2 girls. 1 double-sided dildo. Seems safe. You/Lumporu single-handedly made an entire fandom question the one thing we all previously agreed on. Now nobody knows whether Jar Jar Binks was a bumbling buffoon or the greatest threat the galaxy has ever known. Now instead of a universal hate for the Gungan, we have brother fighting brother in the street. Edit. Link to the offending post. https://www.reddit.com/Star Wars comments/3QVJ6W theory Jar Jar Binks was a trained Force user/dang. Now my highest voted comment is about praising the genius that is Jar Jar Binks. A week ago, I would have laughed at somebody who said that. Lance Armstrong ruined cycling for Americans. I don't think any of us will ever give a shit about cycling ever again. To be fair, everyone was doping. Armstrong was just an a-hole about it and the biggest figure. There was one race 10 years ago or so, where looking back, the person who placed 8th was the highest placed person who was never caught doping, I think. Hitchhiking. The idea of being able to hit the open road and visit far off places when one is broke or just looking to meet some interesting people. Some a-hole had to come along and start murdering people and burying them in shallow graves, which sort of ruined the image of a shallow grave too. Duck that guy. It wasn't really just one guy. We used to be able to roll over vacation days, but one idiot genius saved up his days for 10 years to take an entire year off paid and also insisted he shouldn't be required to make his sales quota for that year since he was on vacation. Now none of us can roll over days. Edit. I think what makes this story better is that this is a company of over 300,000 people, and this applies to the whole company. Well, that's stupid. I'm guessing they didn't complain while he showed up to work every single day for 10 years. And it's not like they weren't aware he was building up so much vacation. Seems more like an excuse to screw over the rest of you and save a bunch of money by skimming off unused vacation days every year. Edit. Especially since they could have solved the problem while still allowing you to roll the days over. Just make a rule that you can't use more than, say, 6 weeks of vacation in a calendar year. The filthy chiselers. Nabokov ruined the name Lolita. Lolita, light of my life, fire of my loins, my sin, my soul. Lolita, the tip of the tongue taking a trip of 3 steps down the palate to tap, at 3, on the teeth. Low, Lee, T. She was low, plain low, in the morning, standing 4 feet 10 in one sock. She was Lola in slacks. She was Dolly at school. She was Dolores on the dotted line. But in my arms she was always Lolita. Did she have a precursor? She did. Indeed she did. In point of fact, there might have been no Lolita at all had I not loved, one summer, an initial girl child, in a Princeton by the sea. Oh, when? About as many years before Lolita was born as my age was that summer. You can always count on a murderer for a fancy prose style. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, exhibit number 1 is what the seraphs, the misinformed, simple, noble-winged seraphs, envied. Look at this tangle of thorns. So now I have to read it. The writing is beautiful. Meth cookers that made getting real Sudafed, the one that actually works for colds, a pain in the ass to get. I remember right after they passed the law limiting the amount of Sudafed you could buy at one time, I was at CVS and saw they had a buy one get one free sale on Sudafed. When I went to check out, they wouldn't sell it to me because it was over the limit. I asked why they bothered to have a BOGO sale if they wouldn't honor it and made them sell me one for half price. Not entirely ruined, but vaping now has the image of being a douchebag thanks to people using it for the sole purpose of blowing big clouds and competing for it. Vaping used to have the image of quitting tobacco. I'm almost down to 0 milligrams nicotine and I've only cared about quitting, not fogging up a Chili's or produce area in Walmart. I hate how vapors have to feel like they are better than you and diss your vape setup. Congrats dude. You just made my mother pick cigarettes back up. Edit. RIP my inbox. Sorry if I didn't get back to some of you. Edit 2. The whole my mother part was intended for humor. That really didn't happen in case you didn't get it. You don't get it. And you never will get it. Master Shake. Edit 3. Glad to see the other views on this and thank you all for discussing your opinions. Saying goodbye to someone at the gate at the airport. So long rom-coms with someone running to catch the person the second before they hand over their ticket aboard the plane. Now you have to get there an hour and a half early to stop them at security. That 4chan guy made people stop trusting the iCloud. The hacker, 4chan? I hear he is still out there. Chocolate chip cookies. Some bastard decided to put raisins in them at some point. From now on I have to constantly check my cookie before eating it. Put them in oatmeal where they belong. I expect them there. Oatmeal raisin cookies are delicious. Just not when you're expecting chocolate chip. The swastika symbol. It's a badass symbol that is considered to be a sacred and auspicious symbol in Hinduism, Buddhism and Jainism. Now anything associated with it is immediately treated with disgust. A Hindu family in my neighborhood had all their windows broken because they painted a swastika, the real one. People were too stupid to realize the Nazi symbol is a reversed version of the original, on their porch for Halloween. The housing council had to hold a public meeting to explain to a bunch of adults why this family celebrating a millennia-old religion weren't Nazis. Heath Ledger as the Joker in Christopher Nolan's third Batman would have been the most anticipated performance ever, really. It was 19 of them, but they made flying even more unpleasant than it already was. Yep, Duck Ryaner's board of directors. The one idiot back in high school who brought a water bottle full of Everclear and decided to get shit-faced and puke on 2 people in the hallway. Everyone had to drink from the ducking water fountain. That water tastes like straight metal. Using the word Twilight, I really enjoyed that word. Now it conjures up images of fangirling tweens and lonely mothers, instead of that breathtaking moment when the last vestiges of orange from the day's sky meld and crash against the mauve blanket of the coming night. At least Stephanie Meyer can't take mauve away from me. Mauve Avenger. Forever. Connie 2012 and donating to charities in Africa. I feel like everyone is now overly cautious when donating, and rightly so. If that's rightly so, then did they really ruin it? Yoko Ono ruined the Beatles. Having pets on property you don't own. So many shitty pet owners that don't take care of their animals have made it super difficult to find an apartment park etc that's dog friendly. It's stupid expensive to rent and own a pet. Edward Snowden ruined surveillance for governments. Eve completely ruined life for all of us. If it were not for her, there would be no pain in childbirth and man would not have to toil the ground for food. Haha, I thought you were talking about the online game taking up everybody's time for a second. I would have liked to name my daughter Isis, or at the very least have the option to. Reckless young drivers. I can barely afford to insure my car because there's a small percentage of people my age who are determined to get in as many crashes as they can to push up the cost for the whole age bracket. The guy who decided to duck a monkey in Africa and ended up bringing AIDS to the world. Now I can't duck a monkey without being afraid of everyone getting pissed off. Not one person, but those a-holes who do 12 o'clock wheelies down the highway at 100 miles per hour ruined the image of motorcyclists. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.